and talk about this week. This is a really good week. Really good week. I caught up about 347 pips. Translates to around $278 off of 8 micros. We're going to analyze this week, the week of Monday, March 25th to Friday, March 29th. All right. So we're going to start with the New Zealand dollar, US dollar before we get to the Aussie dollar. This is a pair I used to trade a lot. Now I'm starting to get more back into it because my main pair is AU, but I used to trade this pair a lot here too. But yeah, let's talk about what happened. So as you can see right here on this 4 hour, we got ourselves an ascending triangle. All right. So, you know, ascending triangles usually are indications for upward moves, but I tell people in the profit hunters, just be prepared for whatever, because it's not about being right or wrong or predicting what's going to happen. It's about reacting to what you see. Okay, so basically, like I said, this one, you got a triangle going up. You have a resistance here at the top, along with these daily resistances, along with higher highs being made. So, of course, as it gets closer to the apex, that thing will either bust up or it'll bust down. All right, not one of my favorite things to trade. I love trading triangles. I love trading pendants because, like I said, it's just so textbook. So, basically, for this pair, what happened is we were right here on this right here. Let me zoom in some more. We were right here in this market right here. So we had a, let's see here. We was right here. We were right here. So right here, you see there's also a pennant inside this big picture triangle. All right, it was a pennant inside this big picture triangle. So if I would go to the 1 hour, you'll be able to see it a lot better, so it won't be so cluttered. And boom, there we go. So all this stuff I pretty much set up in the profit hunters group whenever I do my I do my weekly projections of what's going to happen in the market, and I explain why. And yeah, at first, like I said, this pennant was going on, so it was either going to bust up or down. It looked bearish, but it went up. So exactly what I was talking about. Depending on what's going on, just be prepared for whatever. So I got in on this trade. Once the pennant started to bust up, I put a buy stop there, and then once it hit my certain buy stop, it just went ahead and just, I shot up here and I took profit. And I'm pretty sure I put my profit up there, as you can see that, I caught that trade, and it was a pretty good trade. It was a pretty good trade. But I knew over like the big picture, New Zealand dollar, US dollar wanted to come down. All right, the Kiwi dollar wanted to come down. So basically, at the same time, I mean, we have this going on right here. Let me see. It was another pennant that was going on after that one. Yeah, it was another pennant that was going on after that one. So I also knew that was coming down. On top of this pennant being right here, you see the big picture of the triangle. So these two white lines of the triangle, right? And then this resistance right here. So as you can see, we back up a little bit more. Let me go to 4 hours. So if we back up a little bit more, you see that resistance is really strong. Look, 1, 2, 3 times it got rejected. Well, before it formed this third time that we just saw, it got rejected twice before. So I already knew, like I said, as it got higher and higher to this daily resistance and the resistance of the triangle, that it wanted to come down. And then on top of a pennant happening on top of that, so let's go back to the 1 hour. I was just saying, okay, this thing is coming down. So as usual, I wait for my breakout. But really, this right here, this big drop, I caught that entire move. So I bought right here for a mini scalp on the bullish pennant. And then on this pennant right here, I was basically waiting for that downward move. But like I said, because of the other confluence I was looking at, knowing that this is a downtrending market, knowing that this resistance up here got rejected twice, it was a trader's instinct. A lot of times, you're gonna have to go off your judgment, not necessarily your technical analysis. It's basically you develop that instinct and that judgment over time of just trading the markets and stuff like that. So my judgment and my instincts told me that this thing is coming down. So while it was independent, which is something you shouldn't do, but like I said, this is just my instinct, I already took a sell inside of here because I already knew what was gonna happen. I already knew what was happening. So as I was watching the market, boom, thing came down. And this also is news as well. It was news influence as well. But I mean, like I said, I feel like when your technical analysis in Forex, are so spot on, you're really good at your technical analysis, your news will line up with it. That's why news doesn't really matter that much, like I said before in my video, in Forex, because it's so technically driven. Because like I said, certain things have to happen for other things to be able to happen, if that makes sense. It's a very deep rabbit hole. We're not gonna get into it today. But yeah, caught this whole move. Pretty sure my profit, if I hadn't already put it up there, that was my profit on that. That's pretty much where the bulk of my pips came from this week, of just pretty much watching this move and knowing it was coming down. And then of course, as soon as I seen this big old dip here, I took profit. And then now you see the market is pretty much it's slowed down at a time. All right. So that's pretty much on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Right now, what's going to be happening next week is, of course, some movement up. I don't know if it's going to actually do another correction up or whatever the case may be, if it does correct for that. But all I know is it's going to probably hit this again, this top part. Because like I said, as you can see, as the pennant of this week hit, it came up here and hit that daily resistance. And, of course, in the same area as the triangle's resistance. And it just dropped down. So to continue that triangle formation. So next week, I'm really not sure. I just know that it is going to be coming up. The week will start probably bullish. It probably will start bullish. But just be on the lookout for that. But also understand that because of this move right here, if you trade a buy for this bullish run is going to go on, it's just going to be a scalp. If not, like I said, it may go all the way back up to the top, but we'll see. Now, if we put on the Fibonacci time, hold on, let me get it all the way over here to the apex. Yeah, so according to the Fibonacci time, it still has some waves. Like I said, usually on pennants and triangles, if you use the Fibonacci time indicator, basically around the 75, that's when you'll see a breakout up or down when you're using a pennant or a triangle. So it looks like it still has some way to go to sit here and range up in there. Like I said, only time will tell. Because it's in a triangle, it's kind of unpredictable right now. The only thing that we're really looking for is some, candles closing up or candles closing down. But right now, they're both inside of it. So that's what we're going to be watching next week, just to see what the market does. Now, let's get to Australian dollar, US dollar, my main pair here. So as you guys know, I didn't have it on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, but right here, you guys know my vertical lines are my separators of the weeks and stuff like that. So, the current week is this what's going on right here. Now, I'll explain everything that's going on here. So basically, I took a few trades on Australian dollar, US dollar, and I lost both of them this week. And I'm going to explain to you why and why I just took profit and stuff like that. So for this week, we knew, like I said last week, it was going to have some bullish movement for retracement of this move, which was correction of the FOMC news. All right. So this is the FOMC. This is the correction move. This is the retracement of the correction. So we already knew this was going on. All right. Now, if I go to the daily, let's start the daily real quick, just to give us some more perspective of what's going on. Let's start the daily. And before this week started, let me zoom in. Before this week started, the daily had ended, forget these candles right here. Matter of fact, let me just zoom in over here. So this is what last week left off on. All right, you have, you got your trending motion coming down, and then the market left off on a bearish pin bar with a good little bearish candle down. So we already knew that next week, this thing was going to be coming down for the most part. It was going to be a bearish week because if it wasn't for the FOMC news 2 weeks ago, we would already be pretty much, the price would be very much more down than what it is right now. So let me fix this. So like I said, you got a pin bar right here and pretty much a bearish percentage candle coming down. And like I said, for the most of the week, it was a bearish week. You had bullish movement, stuff like that, but let's get into it. So the 4 hour, that move, like I said right here, this right here is retracement of the correction move. All right. So just to give you a visual, this is the correction move. All right. And this is the retracement of that move. Okay. So that's the correction move. That's the retracement of the move. Get it out the way. And like I said, after that, it started to come down. So at first, you can see now, it's Australian dollar, US dollar is in a pennant right now. It's in a pennant right now on the 4 hour. All right, as you can see, it goes boom, boom, boom. It's in a pennant right now. All right, it's in the pennant, and like I said, once it came down here, you started to get the seller exhaustion at the bottom, and you had just that one bearish candle came outside of the pennant. But overall, they started to come back up because now off of this move right here, it's retracing a little bit. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning these trades that I lost that I'll put up on the screen here is because I was a little confused at first, because at first I didn't see it. But now, of course, looking at the week at its glance, I see why I lost those trades and why they weren't going anywhere. Because I think I was in somewhere in between all this mess right here. As you can see, it didn't really move anywhere. Like I said, if I put in sales. So if it came down, okay, this is the only time I was in profit. Then as I started to see the market coming back, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's still trying to retrace this move. But I had to bring it out to the bigger picture. So the bigger picture, yes, it's a pennant. So that's why price is kind of in a range right now, getting squeezed into the apex. And at the same time, inside of this pennant, you have a ascending triangle, a ascending triangle inside the pennant. So on the 1 hour, you can see that a lot better. Let's go to it. And boom. On the 1 hour, like I said, you have the ascending triangle. You have the resistance at the top, and then you have higher highs being made. Now this, unlike the New Zealand dollar, US dollars triangle, is closer to its apex. So next week, that thing is either going to bust up or bust down immediately. Like Monday, I'm pretty sure you'll start to see that move. Now, the reason why I said that is because of this. An ascending triangle usually indicates a bullish outbreak, right? Just like a descending triangle indicates a bearish outbreak. But again, just be prepared for what you see. React to what you see, not what is supposed to happen. Okay? So, like I said, pretty much as the market came up here, it wasn't getting past this area, which is, the resistance part of the triangle, and it just kept on going up. So this is what's going to happen next week. What's going to happen this next week is basically, this is the ascending triangle. So we know that it has to get back over here, in this pennant that it's in, like the two white lines of the pennant. We know it has to get back up here, right? So therefore, that ascending triangle is probably going to push it over here to that line of the pennant, right? And then after that, with however many days that take, which I don't think it will take many days, I think it will take 2 days on this little bull run, and it's not going to be long. It's going to be like more of a scalp because AU's pip count is so low. And then after that, we're on the popping again, and it's pretty much going to break this. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this week because, like I said, it's going to be trendy. This is the overall move that's going to be happening, but as it comes down off of this, it's going to be more like boom, retracement, boom, retracement, so it can actually come out. But overall, it's going to break out this pennant, and it's going to be bearish. It's going to be bearish. Also, the reason why, like I said, when the move opened up right here to why this move was so sharp down, this was not news influence or anything like that. The reason why this move was such a sharp move down, it's pretty much confluence. So let me show you. We take our fib from our high over here down to our low right here. And right here, you got the 786, the line of the pennant, and the line on the daily trend line, all converging in one spot, along with a daily resistance as well. That's 4 things right there for good confluence of a good sell. So if you caught this move off of that, and then you was in huge profit off of that, that's the reason why. I didn't because I was too busy with New Zealand dollar, US dollar. All right, and plus at the time, again, I didn't mark up the pennant, nor did I see the trend line on the daily for the downward movement. All right, so basically that's why you see these points, they all converge at one point. That's beautiful. That right there is like the golden things in trading, which you look for. Confluence of multiple things. 786 price reversal zone of fib, a daily resistance, and also, like I said, the line of the pennant, the resistance of the pennant, and then a trend line. And that's why that move just busted down like that. All right, so yeah, for next week, that's what's going to be happening with this pair. As soon as Monday comes around, this thing is going to pop up. Now, I don't know if it's going to gap up or down. I mean, it depends. If it gaps down, for sure the thing is coming up because all gaps must be filled. So if this thing, because like price closed right here, now if it gaps down and hits the bottom of this, oh, it's coming through here. If I see a gap down, I'm taking a buy immediately. All right. Now, if it gaps up, it'll probably come down a little bit more, but then it's going to pop back up again. Now, if we put the fib time on this, from this point to its apex, look at that. The 75 is lined up perfectly with it. So therefore, like I said, Monday comes, that thing is coming out of here. It's going to be shooting up. Because like I said, it's going to shoot up, just get back up in here for the bigger picture pennant, and then it's going to come down. Now, as far as the bigger picture pennant, how is that looking on the Fibonacci time? Let's move it from this point, that's the first point, to the apex. And yeah, right here, this is where the let me delete this one first. This is where the Fibonacci time is on the bigger picture pennant. Like I said, the pennants can go either way. It's not like an ascending or descending triangle where it usually goes one way. A pennant, it can go either way. All right, so basically, as you get close to the 75, look out for a bust of a move down or up. If it's my guess, it's going to be down. And also on top of all of that, I mean, we have a head and shoulders right here too. So let me take off the fib real quick. And then right here, you got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And like I said, right here where the support of the pennant is pretty much the neckline of the head and shoulders. So from right here, it seemed like it broke past it. You know, it didn't come down to retest or anything like that, but that's also giving me indication that this overall pennant will head down as well. That's pretty much it for this week. That was all my trades. I kind of broke down why I took some of them, and next week gave my projections. So that's pretty much it. Next week, happy trading, and let's try to catch these moves.
Don't try to make it too hard. You're trying to make it as simple as possible.
Using confluence. So if you see a
bullish pattern instead of a bearish pattern.
They're legitimately going to give you the knowledge to make money for the rest of your life.
Ask questions not out of fear of losing money, but to master the skill.
It's a bear flag.
No.
So if you see a double top and it doesn't follow along with what it should be doing, just sit it out, because if you see one pattern, you're probably going to see another one.
Textbook oversold, but that's low. So therefore, it had a lot of, I mean, come on now, that's a lot of volume going down.
They all still mean the same thing. They all mean indecision in the market.
Whenever you're using fib, the real golden things are what I showed you right here and right here.